What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another news video. Of course, as always, the wrestling world never sleeps, so there's always some big news to report as well as some huge rumours. Join us now as Wrestlelamia brings you the news and looks at Corey Graves apologising to Mauro Ranallo, Matt Hardy tries to explain his Woken character to Vince McMahon, Tyson Fury teases a match with Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker never considering himself as a locker room leader, main roster superstars reportedly unhappy backstage, why Rollins has been calling out Punk, and rumours of a female character on Firefly Funhouse fake? Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for the latest wrestling news. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the first story, and looks at Corey Graves apologising to Mauro Ranallo, as you've no doubt heard the saying better late than never, which seems relevant in the case of Corey Graves, who recently took to Twitter to criticise Mauro Ranallo. Again, we won't go into the backstory of this, but if you want to know about it, please check out our previous videos. But if you're familiar with the tweet, many regarded Graves' comments as insensitive and uncalled for due to Ranallo's well-known issues with mental health, and it may have been the reason behind his absence on commentary. But after many tweets believing he was still in the right and calling out Frank Shamrock for a fight, he finally apologised for his remarks on his WWE podcast After the Bell. He mentioned, "I tend to get through this week as we do every week, but before we go any further, on a personal note, I needed to address something. This past Saturday during the TakeOver War Games event, I sent out a tweet. It was an unpopular opinion, as I often do with the intention of just stirring up a little controversy, maybe have something fun to talk about on TV or here on the show. It was maybe not the most professional way to go about things, and it was never meant to offend or disrespect or disparage anybody. That was never my intention. If it was taken as such, I apologise deeply. That was not my intention. I would never intentionally cause anybody undue stress, especially a co-worker, so I apologise." Whilst we commend Graves for his apology, even if it was a few days overdue, why though did it have to be on the podcast? Why not just a simple message on Twitter? You might not agree, but it just seems like a plug for his podcast. Like, I'm not going to apologise here on Twitter, but be sure to check out the podcast where I do. Just seems a little bit artificial. Again, you may not agree with me, but let us know your opinion in the comments down below. Next up, Matt Hardy tries to explain his Woken character to Vince McMahon. Matt Hardy returned to in-ring action at the 25th November Raw, and while he isn't using his Woken Matt Hardy gimmick, it remains a favourite of fans. Recently, Matt spoke to Fightful.com's Sean Ross Sapp about how he tried explaining the gimmick to Vinnie Mac. "Yeah, when I was first going to do the Woken Matt Hardy, I had to talk with him for 30 minutes, and I explained the whole Broken Universe deal. I don't think he understands it completely. Part of it is based off different various TV shows I watch, and it's very Deadpool driven. Broken Matt Hardy winks at the audience and kind of breaks the fourth wall, and I don't know that's something Vince really enjoys or likes to do, unless maybe it's this specific idea. I think it was very involved, and I don't think he got it at all. I know when he watched the Ultimate Deletion, he said, well, people seem to like it. I don't know if I get it. But the thing I do give Vince credit for is he's allowed me to do it. He allowed me to have that Ultimate Deletion. He gave us an opportunity to do that, and internally, it was a success. It did well. We would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that conversation." Next up, Tyson Fury teases a match with Brock Lesnar. Now, as long as Fury wants to get back into the WWE ring, we're pretty sure WWE are no doubt planning for him to meet Lesnar in the near future. It would no doubt be a marquee match. It's possible they're saving this for the next Saudi Arabia event, which is supposedly in February of 2020. Nothing's been confirmed just yet, but when Fury spoke with Sky Sports, he mentioned that he could beat Lesnar in 30 seconds. He mentioned, "I fancy a fight with Brock for sure. I watched a few of his fights. He's pretty handy, but I can flatten him. In a WWE match or a proper fight, I can flatten Brock Lesnar in 30 seconds. Fury just only managed to beat Braun Strowman at the Crown Jewel event, so to say he could defeat Brock Lesnar in 30 seconds just doesn't seem believable. Though knowing WWE, we should probably expect Lesnar to defeat Fury in 30 seconds. Next up, why Rollins has been calling out Punk. Rollins has called out the straight-edge superstar on Twitter and even during a live broadcast of Raw. Again, he didn't outright say his name, but during the segment it was obvious that he was referring to CM Punk. The CM Punk chants are nothing new and they are expected in Punk's hometown in Chicago. However, there was a reason why Rollins couldn't ignore them. He wants to provoke Punk in the hope that he returns. When speaking to Kiss 103.5, Rollins explained that he doesn't think Punk has come back just to discuss wrestling. Well, yes, of course. Look man, he spent 5 years on hiatus. Good for him. Hopefully he's got his head right, but he comes back to sit behind a desk and talk? That's not very CM Punk. That's not the guy they want. That's not what they want. What do you guys think? Will the wrestling itch prevail? Will CM Punk get back into a WWE ring in 2020? We hope so. It could be a huge match. Next up, The Undertaker never considered himself as a locker room leader. The Phenom is the oldest veteran still wrestling on the main roster today, so it's no surprise that he's highly regarded backstage and seen as judge and jury of the locker room for any incidents that might occur. One such incident was when he taped up his fists, a kind of threat to make sure that Shawn Michaels did his job in the ring during WrestleMania 14 and dropped the belt to Stone Cold Steve Austin. However, Taker has revealed that he's never felt like that on the debut episode of Broken Skull Sessions and was merely trying to do what was best for business. Speaking with Steve Austin, he said, "I never thought of myself as the locker room leader. It just kinda happened in the sense just because I was kinda there for everything. I tell people that sometimes, and I never want it to come off like I'm being an asshole, but when times were so lean there, when business was so bad, I've made more in one payoff than I did in a whole year. It's something else, just another little thing I put in the back of my head, because I know that this is where I need to be, and regardless of if Vince McMahon and I butt heads or we don't agree, which is gonna happen, it's a creative business. We're not gonna see eye to eye. You and I might not have the same vision on finish, but we'll get there, It's a process. It's the same with Vince McMahon, but we know where we gotta be. Regardless, he gave me my chance. There's no telling where I would have been if he hadn't given me the chance, and I just never forgot that. Like I said, if that ship wouldn't have went down, I'd have been sharing that life vest with him." It just goes to show that even after all these years, Taker is one of the most humble and well-respected wrestlers in wrestling history. He's one wrestler that would never screw over Vince McMahon. After all, he's right, he has given him everything. Next up, main roster superstars are reportedly unhappy. Now this year's Survivor Series saw the little yellow engine that could make a big impact by beating both Raw and SmackDown, with the final scores being 4-1. With WWE seeing AEW as big competition on Wednesday nights, as they were being beaten in the ratings for 7 weeks in a row and only finally managed to get their first win in the Go Home episode, they had one goal in mind: put NXT on the map and show the WWE Universe that it is a show they need to tune in to see every Wednesday night to see the stars that got a huge push, the likes of Keith Lee, Rhea Ripley and Tommaso Ciampa. Now the ratings will tell tomorrow if WWE succeeded and managed to bring in some new fans to watch the show and see if anyone is interested in the brand post-invasion. But NXT's push isn't favoured by some superstars on the main roster. Obviously, no names have been revealed, but according to Sportskeeda's Tom Colohue, the recent push has caused some mixed reactions backstage. While many in the red and blue locker rooms believe that this has been good for business and have been vocally happy to put over their fellows, there are quite a few people who feel that NXT's ascension has negatively impacted the perception of what was previously termed the main roster. Sources indicate that some talent have concerns about a lack of screen time, similar to when the wildcard rule was in operation. I have been told that Survivor Series was a particular low for some members of the roster. Now it's pretty obvious that NXT superstars like Keith Lee are going to receive a massive push by debuting officially on the main roster, but we just hope that some wrestlers won't be seeing it as taking their airtime, and we also hope these wrestlers aren't just seen as a flash in the pan for Vince McMahon. And lastly, rumours of a female character on Firefly Funhouse fake. WWE recently announced that there will be a new character on the Firefly Funhouse that will be revealed this Friday night on SmackDown, and it could be a female. The designs of this new female could have been leaked by a tweet by Erica Gimbel, who claimed to be a wardrobe stylist and designer who works with WWE, where she uploaded an interesting video with the Firefly Funhouse music in the background, drawing a dress with the caption that read, "Let her in." And whilst there has been a lot of speculation that a female character could be added to the show and assist Bray Wyatt as a follower, and there have been rumours in the past of the likes of Liv Morgan, who hasn't been seen since July of this year, teasing a lot of dark moments happening like crying in the rain and posing with black lipstick, this post specifically has been called out for being fake. Twitter user Kristen Ashley revealed a number of tweets on why she thinks this is bogus. They include high retweets and no replies, no picture of the user's face, photos of a dress she supposedly made claiming that she's going to Marine Corps ball were in fact taken from a Facebook page selling the dress with the wrong label of the dress, and much more. Nothing seems to add up. Now, we won't list all the tweets, but you can find them in the description down below. It's not concrete evidence, but something to consider with rumours flying around the internet that she is a WWE designer. But who do you think will be the new character? Will it be another puppet, or could it be a WWE superstar following the cult? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, check out Wrestlelamia if you have some time, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.